like to have a cross
Like
finals,
GSL versus the world.
you need 2 events running though. What's the event for Southeast Asia?
Singapore Online League.
What are you on about?
Aodai.
The Aodai is not a thing anymore.
It isn't.
Yeah. I completely understand what you're saying, and I mean it's something that we've thought about for other things, like running a cross finals for certain events. I remember we were thinking about it for like NA and Latin America, but like we were going to do.
Then Battle of the Americas became a thing, and we were like, oh,
no,
thank God we don't need to arrange that.
Not at all. It was it was NA Apprentice Cup and Battle of the Americas would give points, and then also Battle of the Americas and Sentimiento Latino and Copa Hyperion. But then NA Apprentice Cup isn't a thing anymore, so.
And we ourselves just do not have the time to organize that, which is why you should consider subscribe. Anyway, I had to cut that thingy short because I need to segue here. We are now spawning into Blackburn LE, a burning platform in space. There's actually a lot of interesting aesthetic choices made on this map. I like it quite a bit. In the bottom right corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right corner, the Red Zerg player, going for his typical extractor trick, representing Vietnam, as well as Intensity Esports. He is the cat himself, the Grand Platypus, the Pelican case. He is MeomaikA.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Pink Protoss, hailing from the land of Hong Kong. He strokes all the beef. It is Bistork.
And I, for one, am loving Blackburn. Oh my God, Miko. This is one of the reasons why I love it. Immediately grabs that gold base.
So a couple of things, right? Obviously the map pool is incredibly new, and we were unable to cast any pro games until this morning. We of course didn't run any events throughout the week. Mostly our events are over the weekend, so we haven't seen too many pro tournaments or pro matches on these maps. And for MeomaikA to go immediately for the gold like this, I love it.
Now, for most players, I would say, oh yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing. They saw this map, they immediately knew, I'm gonna do this. But for MeomaikA, I'm not so sure. Bistork though has his suspicions. Great minds think alike. And Bistork will confirm MeomaikA being a little cheeky here. It's going to be his top priority to prevent that base from mining.
So this isn't as bad as, oh god, what was that? Was it Redshift? Was it Redshift with the gold, right?
Redshift with the gold, where you could float to the gold with both bases, so you could have 2 Terran players mining from the same gold base.
I'm thinking too deep into it. It's not as bad as Golden Wall. Golden Wall is a simpler example.
Wall,
where Golden Wall, there was a gold base that you can take, but if your opponent was on the other side,
third base,
but if your opponent was on the other side, it would be really difficult to deal with that, and it would basically just remove any mining whatsoever, because Golden Wall was just a straight up wall that kind of cut the map in half. But that isn't really the case here. Like, this mineral line isn't too vulnerable. Like, it's very easy for, you know, Lynx to just go around the back and help deal with any kind of adepts or any kind of harass.
Potentially. It's still a little bit of a distance to go. You know, there are a bunch of corners around there. If Bistork is on top of his micro things, he can definitely just target down drones, back away, come back for round 2, but that depends. As Bistork actually going for Void Rays once again.
Yeah, and so what's important, because again, harassment on this isn't going to work anywhere near as well as a map like Golden Wall or even Redshift, as we do have an adept headed in that direction. Going for Void Rays, because this base is so vulnerable, like, it is possible for Void Rays to just kill this, because there won't be that many queens to help defend against it.
There's even dead air pockets right next to the base. It's like, what was it? I think the music made this map. It's like he immediately said, yo, you can take this base, but I'm gonna make sure you get punished for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Lynx do deal with the adepts, but the Void Rays are coming out. We'll see what Bistork decides to go for. Regardless, what's important is that these queens, they are stuck here. right? Whether they're here to defend the third base or like to try and defend against the main. Like they can't traverse between the bases. So this is really dangerous for MeomaikA.
Especially this warrior starting to come in even now. That's going to be enough to take out that queen. Potentially take out a spore? No, not quite. But even still, this warrior can go toe-to-toe with the units out here from MeomaikA because there's just not a lot of anti-air. The spore is down, but it is not exactly the best location. It will chase Bistork away after only killing a single drone, though. So it was just enough here for MeomaikA.
Yeah,
Not having too much access. He's actually producing more queens from this base.
Yeah, like the thing that I'm worried about is like, what is MeomaikA's plan right now? Because he's going for a lair. He doesn't have any tech. And again, like when you go for a build like this where you take advantage of a gold base, usually it's for like a big all-in, right? Otherwise, like it's going to be so difficult to transition into a later game with this. As we see, like MeomaikA is getting abused a little bit. Like what is the plan here?
Well, I have no idea what MeomaikA is doing, but we have a very good idea of Bistork. That's a whole lot of gateways he's got light with his adepts. Bistork coming in here saying, "We just send Meo. You should notice more than anyone." I guess they're gonna punish him.
Exactly, 7 gateways right now for Bistork. Could even go up to 8, so he's going for a massive glaive adept all-in. And what's scary is that there are not going to be any roaches to defend because MeomaikA went straight into hydras.
Yeah, it usually works out for him pretty well, but not when his opponent is going straight into resonating glaives like this. I think when Meo does this, he usually anticipates charges coming his way.
Yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of queens to defend and lings, but again, this is just not ideal against glaive adepts. We'll see. We'll see how Meo is going to be able to defend here, if he can defend, if he's able to get enough queens out. Sorry, hydras even.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Remember, Hydras are light units as well, so that is pretty much best case scenario for a player going glaive adepts like this. Getting surrounded like that, though, not best case scenario. I'm a little bit surprised that Bistork is going for the main bases as opposed to that golden base, but who knows? I guess he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but all these adepts in the main will be dealt with. Meanwhile, the queens have done a decent job taking out the adepts. They're trying to get on top of that warp prism. The warp prism almost losing all its shields, but it does survive.
And these queens, uber exposed, will start to be taken out. MeomaikA, his eyes are on his gold base, and honestly, I don't blame him. That is the #1 priority for him to defend. That is the main source of his income right now. But it does mean that he's opening up more spots for Bistork to hit with his adepts.
To be fair, honestly, these adepts have not dealt any economic damage whatsoever. Like, Bistork has not found, he's not been able to do anything, accomplish anything with this. Finally, Bistork, he commits to shade towards the gold, but what is he really going to be able to accomplish here? He takes out a couple of workers, but the hydras are here to defend.
Yeah, he's still focusing a lot on trying to take out army with his adepts. That was just about every adept being taken out. And now Bistork is trying to multi-prong, but the creep spread has been connected. So MeomaikA is going to have a much easier time going back and forth between spaces.
Yeah, and now all the adepts have been caught in the center of the map. They will all go down, and MeomaikA has defended against the glaive all-in. And now, mate, he can just counterattack. There's nothing stopping him.
There really is not. That gold base really kicking in. Look at how many units MeomaikA is able to pump out.
Exactly, he's just soaring ahead in terms of supply. There are adepts to help defend, which is great and all, because adepts, they do well against lings and hydras, but they just, I don't know if Bistork has enough numbers.
I mean, it's 32 versus 72. I think the smaller number wins, right?
I mean, with overcharge, anything is possible.
It really is. But that requires energy, and Bistork chronoed a little bit too much here.
That he did. Honestly, the force fields were pretty good. By Bistork, he was able to stem the tide a little bit. The hydras are pushing on forward. Ooh, the sentry does get focused down.
Yeah, it's gonna be a massive blow into defenses here. MeomaikA can't exactly push up into this ramp. As you said, he knows that super battery is a possibility. He doesn't realize that, Bistork actually doesn't have a lot of energy on that Nexus, but, he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. He's waiting to regroup here. Picks off the warp prism. Beautiful snipe. And that's actually massive. Bistork, he wanted to go for a big counterattack to try to draw the army back, and try to do a whole ton of damage. But now it's not really looking out to work out too well for him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know if I agree with this. Bistork, he committed to the shade. He gets surrounded by the Lings and Hydras. All the adepts are going to be going down. And once again, MeomaikA can counterattack.
Just like so. I mean, if it's any consolation, I mean, MeomaikA's not mining from that gold base anymore.
I guess. Is that? Oh god. And I mean,
was his win condition a long time ago, but not anymore. Bistork is gonna have to do a whole lot more than that. MeomaikA even trying to go for a sandwich here with that Nidus.
Yeah, there we go. Overcharge is being used again. MeomaikA is wasting a lot of supply trying to break this ramp. Like, Bistork is trading incredibly efficiently here, but with the Niduses, MeomaikA will be able to sneak into the main base.
Hopefully. I mean, he's not really
doesn't even
too
need
much
to.
out from that Nidus. He doesn't need to, honestly, yeah. He could keep going, but he would much rather go around the ramp than through the ramp. It's just queens up here at the moment, so
yeah, he can
that's why we
rally.
didn't see too much damage done.
Yeah, he goes from one Nidus straight into the other, so he can just rotate up the ramp. He gets into the main. GG gets gold.
MeomaikA taking game number 1, showing that sometimes greed really does pay off.
Sometimes.
Not all the time.
Yeah, again, like, that was really nicely done there by MeomaikA. Bistork, I liked the idea of the Glaive Adepts, but he just kept getting surrounded. Like, he kept getting kind of caught out in the open.
I think Bistork's attack priorities were a little off there. Usually when we see Glaive Adept, players go Glaive Adepts like this, they just want to avoid the army for as long as possible, shade around the bases, go for the drones, and then build up a force that can really go toe-to-toe with whatever army units the Zerg player has made. Bistork, he just wanted to throw down immediately. He said, all right, let's go.
I think he committed to every single shade, right?
I think he did.
that was the thing that really threw me off. He kept shading, and I'm like, oh, yo, he's gonna psych him out and just like keep warping in, right? No, he just YOLO'd in every time.
He committed to shading right on top of the Hydras and Lings.
Yeah.
Every time. Bistork is a man of commitment.
He is.
That's how I'm gonna go with that.
Are you gonna write like a section of him on in your blog post?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he'd be like, listen, if you ever want to learn a thing or two about dating, let me tell you about my man Bistork here.
What?
Secrets to a successful marriage. You gotta be like Bistork.
You're gonna say like, look, if anyone knows anything about commitment, it's Bistork.
It's
right?
Bistork. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I've been speaking to him, my guru, or my commitment guru.
Milk?
Yeah. As we continue our series on Oxide LE, we're spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. The pink Protoss player coming down from the land of Hong Kong. He is the best player, Protoss player, to come out from Hong Kong. We have, representing himself, Bistork.
And as we get
Hashtag committed.
Hashtag committed, mate. And as we get into the next player intro, as he is going for a pull first, exclamation mark, Funara Seether in the chat. I see you there, mates. What's going on? Why are you not here on the brackets, in the brackets? And are you playing goddamn Dota 2? Shaking my head.
I was gonna say, you said what was going on earlier.
Yeah.
You said there was a new patch.
Yeah, man, I need him to say it, all right? I need it out of his mouth, all right? Well, spawning in the top right, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player. He is red. He's representing Intensity Esports, already up 1-0 in this best of 3. It is MeomaikA.
Would definitely be a shame, too, if that was what was going on. Because Seether has been laddering a lot in the past couple of months.
Yeah, he's been laddering. He's been playing a lot of custom games with the other AU boys as well. It's really cool to see him active again. You know, it would be even better if he played in some of these tournaments. Just saying. Just
he's conserving his energy for ANZ champs.
Man, what? And what are you on about? Like, Seether's like he's like a sure thing in ANZ champs. He's top 2 easy, maybe even top 1. Like,
well, he's a shirt because he's conserving his power, right?
Is that how it works?
Right? Yeah. Everybody, when he wins a big tournament, everybody's like, "Man, Seether, he like did not even need to conserve his power. It's like he could have just done whatever and won." But the thing is, it's an illusion, right? Because actually, it's because he was preparing specifically for the event.
Yeah. If he played in all the weeklies, he'd actually be knocked out in the first round of DreamHack.
Exactly.
Oh god.
That's the only reason we don't see him sign up.
Oh my god, I'm so surprised. MeomaikA actually got his 3rd up and running despite the Adept. My god. I was also really curious, a little bit confused, because Mio went for a pull first opening, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't be confused because he does this even in ZvZ, where it was pull first just for the queens. Yeah.
Well, normally he does this on speed zone maps, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's a bit more of a surprise here on Oxide. Then again, it is also a pretty good map if you want to be sending your queens out for a push. It's not. It's no Jagannatha, it's definitely no Beckett Industries, but, I mean, it's more ideal than Romanticide.
Yeah, definitely. And we see how things shape up. With these, queens, of course, MeomaikA is able to help defend against all the Adepts. He does make a wave of Lings. I don't know how much this will really get done as they move out across the map. There is an Adept here, a Shield Battery is even on the way, and the Void Ray does pop out in time.
Right in time to clear out an Overlord and potentially deal with these things. There we go. Bistork not YOLOing it across the map. Adept does not get dealt with. Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it. It's still alive.
He shaded to the other side of the wall. That's what I mean, mate. Committed.
Hashtag. And speaking committed, Shield Battery makes it so that an Adept will not abandon the post to retreat. So that's my other advice for the column, give incentives, right?
What?
just tell your significant other, you know what? I will make it so that you don't get killed in the line of duty.
What? Are you threatening people, Yaku? Is that... What?
That's how I ran a successful column.
You're like, that's how I got my first girlfriend. Said, hey, I won't kill you. What? Oh no.
Practical advice.
Anyway, so
speaking of practicality, MeomaikA transitioning to Spires.
Interesting. I mean, it does
get Spire.
Yeah, it does get scouted by the Oracle, so it is a bit of a shame. And this is where I'm curious to see the kind of MeomaikA that shows himself. Spire is on the way, so automatically I think, hey, maybe he wants to go for mutas. But the Spire just got scouted, and Bistork, because he scouted it, he's going for Phoenixes. So the big brain play for MeomaikA is to either go for Corruptors or it doesn't go for any Spire units whatsoever.
He's going for mutas, isn't he? He's going for Corruptors. Okay. Woo. Thankful that MeomaikA did something that actually makes sense this time.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still mind gaming his opponent. Like, Bistork thinks that mutas are coming, so he's making Phoenixes, and Phoenixes are not really what you want against Corruptors.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually something I've been thinking of for a while, though. Like, would it be better to have Void Rays versus mutas, or Phoenixes versus Corruptors? Because I'm feeling the latter. Wait, no.
What are you saying?
I can't explain what I'm saying. Basically, it's better to have Phoenixes versus Corruptors, right? As opposed to not having Phoenixes against... Basically, I'm trying to be like, it's better safe than I can't word it right now. Anyway, MeomaikA's coming in, trying to snipe buildings of his Corruptus. And Phoenixes, as you said, they are not going to do too well here. They can try to tickle these Corruptus, and to be fair, there aren't a whole lot of them. But there are enough to start two-shotting these Phoenixes if there wasn't a shield battery.
Oh, yes, exactly. But the shield battery does have limited resources here, and it does barely keep some of these Phoenixes alive. So the Corruptors, they are forced away. Ooh, oh my god, and Bistork is doubling down on this, and he's even getting annual pulse crystals.
Yeah, might as well.
Really?
Sure, they're not the best. Probably not, considering how many lings are coming this way. But, I mean, still, they're decent as a harassment unit, I suppose. You might want to keep a couple of Phoenixes here just to maybe deal with something like Lurkers if it gets to the late game. But, yeah, in the meantime, I feel like there's a massive hole in Bistork's plan that MeomaikA can exploit.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit concerned. Like, I mean, Bistork, he is going for Flux Vein, so he is looking to eventually switch back into Void Rays. I just don't know if it's worth, like, so many waves or rounds, I should say, of Stargate production being invested into these Phoenixes. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he can prove me wrong and deal a bunch of damage and maybe get a bunch of economic damage done as he runs into Corruptors.
Yeah, I think it's really the best case scenario for Bistork. Not running into Corruptors, that's the best case scenario for MeomaikA. The best case scenario for Bistork right now is to just use these Phoenixes as a harassment tool. He is not going to get too much value out of them otherwise.
Yeah, instead he's actually trying to go...
Oh my...
He's actually trying to go toe-to-toe with the Corruptors, which just isn't working out for Bistork whatsoever. The Corruptors, they chase him down. Another Phoenix almost does fall. And this is scary because the Corruptor number is going to get higher. And again, like, the Corruptors, they serve dual purpose, right? They deal with the Phoenixes and they help deal with the Void Rays as well.
Yeah, aside from that, though, I don't see them getting too much done. Maybe they could try to snipe a building here or there, but Bistork is starting to transition to his ground army. To be fair, MeomaikA hasn't exactly neglected that either. He's getting a pretty strong Roach Ravager Ling composition out.
I was about to say, speaking of ground army, like MeomaikA, as you said, he has not neglected it whatsoever. We do see MeomaikA's working on his 4th base, he's expanding, getting a 5th base as well. He's even spreading a little bit of creep, which we almost never see MeomaikA do.
Whoa. Whoa.
Right? Mate, what's going on?
First he makes Corruptors. He has really been thrown off his game. He can't be too happy about this.
He can't, but you know what? He could also be throwing Bistork off of his game as well, because Bistork's like, what the hell is going on? Is this really MeomaikA? He's spreading creep, kind of. You know, he spread like 2 tumors, and now we have a massive Roach Ling army coming in, not Hydras.
Listen, MeomaikA himself is saying, you forced me to do this, Bistork. Alright, I don't like this any more than you do. But I'm gonna have to overwhelm you with roaches right now. Even a super battery ain't gonna be enough to deal with how many roaches coming out. The Corruptors have been dealt with, though, and there's not any anti-air over here. These Void Rays having an absolute field day with these roaches. MeomaikA has been able to take out a lot of very key sort of high-tech units like those, well, mostly those Archons, but hasn't exactly done any economic damage. I spoke too soon. These probes are ripe for the taking.
Exactly. The probes are trying to transfer between the bases, but they do get caught mid-transfer as they attempt to rush towards the 3rd base. Meanwhile, MeomaikA is even going into the main. This will all get cleaned up because of the Void Rays. You know, none of this does shoot up, but the damage is being done, as you said.
7 probes starting to go down. Could depower quite a bit of production here, but the pylon does hang on. And that was definitely... I feel like that was fine for MeomaikA, right? Because he had a pretty inefficient army that he had to get rid of. But at the same time, it was an inefficient trade in the end here for him. Bistork is starting to catch back up in terms of the RB supply, and he's should be able to get a decent amount done here with his run by. He's already getting Queen.
So the biggest problem with all of this is that MeomaikA, even though he did have an extra base, he has not had the best drone counts, even without losing any drones to harassment. So because of that, he doesn't have a very large economy. He was able to max out and get a very large Roach army, which is great and all, but like after he lost all of that, he's kind of run out of steam a little bit. He is working on Hydras, but again, he needs time right now, and more importantly, he needs money, and losing 5 drones like this, it does hurt.
Absolutely does. Doesn't matter that he has more bases than Bistork. As a player with less workers, let's just say that's a less than ideal scenario.
Exactly. I mean, you never want to see that. That sounds horrifying, as a couple more drones do get picked off. And what's important is that Bistork was able to scout the Hydras, so he knows that the Hydra switch is coming. Because he knows this, we should see a switch into some form of AoE, I hope. Fingers crossed. We need something like Storm or Colossus or Disruptor, anything. He has the Templar Archives, he doesn't have Storm.
But I tell you what, Light, Archons have some splash on them. They also have a very short range, a very limited range that these Hydras are gonna kite away from.
Oh no, and speaking of, the Hydras are looking to pounce on top of these Void Rays, one of them already falling, and the Archons are getting surrounded.
Yeah, well, I guess that's goes to show you why Archons aren't exactly the most reliable form of splash damage.
Yeah.
These Void Rays are trying to fight in the dead air, but there is vision here thanks to that Corrupta, and these... I don't know why I can't speak right now, like, I literally got caught in my... Hydras! That's the word! These Hydras do have group spines.
The Hydras are coming out here from it. MeomaikA is key signature unit, and he's just mowing through these Void Rays. Eventually, the Void Rays will be able to just barely hold on, but MeomaikA has traded so well. The ground army has broken through into the mineral line. The probes are going down. But is this enough? Is this going to be enough damage here? Ooh, meanwhile, massive Ling run by trying to get into the main base, but Bistork is on top of it.
A very quick wall off. That is what you love to see.
Oof.
Ooh. I think what happens is I saw how the dread, the secondhand dread I felt from Bistork closed up my vocal cords.
You were just shooketh, if you will.
I was like, Hydras. It was literally like when you
it's like when you have PTSD.
Like a tiger coming down. Exactly, that's the thing. It's like there's a wolf coming down, and you're like trying to alert somebody, but you can't say.
Mouth opens up, but you just can't speak.
That's literally what happened. My mouth was open. I was like, what's the unit?
Mom spaghetti.
Reality? He's not playing.
There you go. Oh god, that's so far MeomaikA. He's tried to shark around with these things, but honestly he hasn't found much damage whatsoever. Like, the defense so far has been solid by Bistork. The problem is that MeomaikA, he's been able to drone up, he's been able to remax, he has all of his Hydras. I'm just a little bit concerned because there is no lurker den. There are no lurkers, there's no additional, it's just pure Ling Hydra. And as soon as Storm finishes up, yo, Bistork, he's gonna have a lot of fun. Just, you know, clicking Storm on all of this.
Well, he's gonna have a lot of fun clicking Storm on top of these Hydras. It is very much up to Meo to realize that Bistork is going for that form of AoE and avoiding the Storms as best he can. Because once he finishes up his Hive, honestly, Ultralisk would be a pretty good option right now. Get on top of the Hydra, get on top of the High Templar, and then let the Hydras deal with everything else. This Storm has finished up though for Bistork, and this is MeomaikA being pinned into a corner.
And all these Hydras are going to be going down. Thankfully for MeomaikA, these Lings actually did an insane job of killing 17 probes, and honestly, that is a saving grace for MeomaikA. Sure, he lost a bunch of Hydras, but he was able to cripple the economy of Bistork at the same time. Is it going to be enough though? Because now Bistork is pushing across the map. He has some energy for Storm. He's got Archons. He's got a handful of Void Rays against Ling Hydra.
Colossus. But it is not quite going to be enough. The High Templar were taken out earlier on, and the ones that weren't were morphed into Archons. So they didn't quite have enough energy on top of them. Hive has finished off with MeomaikA, and now gotta say, I'm questioning his tech choices right now. He is getting Vipers, which, I mean, that's gonna deal with the carriers that are coming out, but
yeah, the Vipers
still has to contest with the ground army.
The Vipers are solid units, just fully solid, mate. But you need something else alongside them, right? Hydra Ling, like, it's like a glass cannon, you know? It's so vulnerable, it's so fragile. I don't know how well this is gonna work for me. MeomaikA's being very stubborn right now.
Oh, he definitely is. But kind of expect that from MeomaikA every now and then. You know, he decides how he wants to play the game beforehand, and then he sticks with it.
It's part of
Hashtag committed.
It's part of the charm that is MeomaikA, right? Let's be real here.
It is.
If it wasn't for that, then MeomaikA wouldn't be as quirky as he is, and he'd be like every other Zerg player instead.
And that's why I'd say for the dating column, feel like MeomaikA, you know, he's committed to the style that he chooses before he starts a game. He's got charm, he's got quirkiness.
Yeah, he's
a
cat.
Like Meo. Be a cat, yeah.
What?
Anyway, I'm definitely still advocating for some ultras being thrown down here. Do think that it's a really good way to deal with the High Templar. But we'll see.
What I will say is that honestly, the Lings are like going to be just do so well as if they get on top of the High Templar.
And he actually gets every single one of these Archons, almost gets a carrier as well. The Lings were trying to get on top of the Templar and just barely unable to do so. But yo, a couple of good yoinks on top of the High Templar. I believe in Meo. He doesn't even need the yoinks.
Yeah, the Lings, they surrounded every single High Templar. They were all taken out immediately, and now Bistork, he has nothing left. He only has a handful of carriers. Oh god, the High Templar is so exposed!
Like, they very much are, but the Lings have just about been dealt with. MeomaikA taking those storms to the face, and I don't think it's going to work out too well for him. All of these Hydras are down in the orange.
Oh,
but
God.
they are breaking through. They've dealt with the Interceptors.
They have, and you know what? They've dealt with the storms as well. There are no more High Templar. There's only one here, and there's not enough energy for a storm. MeomaikA, it wasn't pretty, he wasn't elegant, but he is able to break through the defenses of Bistork and break into that natural.
And with that, I do not see Bistork turning this around. It looks like MeomaikA is going to be a first player in the upper bracket finals.
Oh yeah, exactly. There was a bit of a run by, but MeomaikA was able to defend against it. He's got plenty of reinforcements at home, and here we go. Third does go down.
I just realized like he's only now getting +3. He had it high for a while.
He did.
Oh boy.
Good. Hashtag just the MeomaikA things, as he didn't even have +3. He didn't even have Adrenal Glands for his Lings, mate. He's just 2-2 Lings.
Who needs them? 2-2 Lings with Hydras. Just, you know, get 4 Vipers and yoink to your heart's content. GG is called, and MeomaikA will be taking that series 2-0. Well played.
GG, well played. Does take down, oh my. He does take down his opponents and move on, as you said, to that upper bracket final,
where we will be having a ZvZ. As we have a quick little update here. Gogo Joey did take out Demi 2-0, knocked him down to the lower bracket, and now up against Chappie.
Ah.
It's really gonna be, we really threw Chappie off the deep end, didn't we?
I mean, you know, he went up against Lumdai in the first round, which is fine and all.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you got to warm up a little bit.
Yeah. Pretty equal, pretty even opponent there, I suppose. It's been a while since I cast at Lumdai. Well, to be fair, it's also been a while since I cast at Chappie.
It's been a very long time. But as you're saying, Gogo Joey is currently mid-series versus Chappie. Again, you know, well played by MeomaikA. I don't know if I want to do it myself, but I love the opener that he did on Beckett Industries with the gold base. That was great to see. But
you know you want to do it, like, you know you do.
No.
You know you want to.
Like, it does feel like very abusable as well. Like, just because of how spread out your bases are, I do think that Bistork definitely could have executed his glaives a little bit better in his series. But in the end, yeah.
I have a theory, Light.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how in IEM Dark went for 3 hatch before pool, but he got his second hatch at the 3rd location, and then Innovation assumed that Dark was going pool first, or 12 pool, something like that. Imagine that, but with that gold base.
The problem with that is that because it's a gold base, players are going to check it, right?
True.
Like that's
fair.
The big brain move is you take your opponent's gold base.
Exactly. Do it.
We're gonna see it when Scarlet, when things open up again, and when Scarlet goes back to Korea with no regret. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Oh yeah.